Very much. I'm away for about 5 weeks. Sorry, it take a long. Participation in some events in China. Right? Your support to the GTI proposed by our President Xi
Now let's welcome students from K-Anda School.
Welcome.
We welcome all of you to China and share the development opportunities together. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, over the 80 years after the victory of the World Anti-Fascist War and the founding of the United Nations, China has upheld multilateralism amid challenges and promoted a shared future amid changes. It's the right time for us to take stock of the past and envision the future. 80 years ago, the United Nations emerged from the profound lessons of war, which unleashed a new chapter in global governance. After 80 years, the trend toward peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefits remains vibrant. Yet, the world today is overshadowed by the dark clouds of Cold War mentality, hegemonism, protectionism, and beset by constantly emerging risks and challenges. We gather at a time when the world has entered a new period of turbulence and transformation, leaving the global governance calling for new choice. From a vision of humanity's shared future, President Xi Jinping has put forward the Global Governance Initiative, the GGI, calling on all parties to stay committed to multilateralism, international rule of law, people-centered approach, real results, and join hands to build a community with shared future for mankind. Together with Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, Global Civilization Initiative, GGI is another important public good that China contributes to international community, which offers timely answers to the question of where should humanity be headed, with wide recognition of the international community. China will always hold high the banner of peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefits. China will always stand ready to safeguard world peace, contribute to global development, and preserve international order. China will always work together with all countries to promote a more just and equitable global governance system for a future of peace, security, prosperity, and progress. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, over 62 years of diplomatic relations, China and Kenya have stood together through thick and thin, have worked together to forge a community with shared future in the new era. This year marks a new chapter of continuity and new progress in our bilateral relations. Since the establishment of diplomatic ties, we two nations have respected and supported each other. We have built our cooperation under the Belt and Road Initiative, a hallmark of bilateral relations. We have steadily deepened our all-round strategic cooperative partnership. The Chinese people will never forget that in 1971, with the support of Kenya and other Asian and African countries, the 26th United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 2758 by an overwhelming majority, which restored the lawful rights of People's Republic of China in the United Nations and solemnly reaffirmed and fully embodied the One China principle. In April this year, President William Ruto paid a successful state visit to China. The two heads of state agreed to elevate our bilateral ties to China-Kenya community with a shared future for the new era, witnessed the signing of 20 cooperation documents, and issued a joint statement. They agreed to build the China-Kenya relationship into an inspiring example in developing the all-weather China-Africa community with shared future for the new era, to lead the development of China-Africa relations and the forging of solidarity and cooperation among Global South countries. This year also marks the 25th anniversary of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, the FOCAC. Over a quarter century, FOCAC has brought China-Africa relations to the best in the history. In June, President Xi Jinping announced to expand zero tariff treatment for 100% of tariff lines for 53 African countries with which China maintains diplomatic ties, including Kenya. We jointly issued the Changsha Declaration to demonstrate our firm resolve to promote mutual development and joint prosperity. China will work with Kenya to ensure the zero tariff measures take effect at an early date so that our peoples can benefit sooner from our cooperation. This year also marks my first year serving as Chinese ambassador to Kenya. I have been deeply honored and fully aware of my great responsibilities. Upon my arrival, I expressed my readiness to work with Kenyan friends to start a new chapter in our friendship. This year, we have witnessed frequent high-level exchanges. The bilateral culture and tourism season is in full swing. The number of Chinese tourists coming to Kenya is increasing. All-round cooperation is in steady progress. None of this could be possible without the support of you, my friends, from all sectors in both countries, for which I would like to say thank you. Thank you.
Today, we have come here to mark the 76th anniversary of the National Foundation Day of the People's Republic of China. We value, as Kenya and as Africa, the strong partnership that China has built with the African continent and African nations. Through the FOCAC arrangement, great strides have been made, spanning aspects of infrastructure and broad governance issues and technological transfer between the two, that is China and the African continent, and we think that this relationship has definitely yielded positive results for our two countries. I was one of the people at the Changsha session, and indeed the conversations there reflected a lot on the strong partnership between Africa and China. The second point I want to highlight is that as Kenya, something important is going on. We have a delegation today in China, which is in deep negotiation so that within the framework arrangement of FOCAC and the pronouncement about China offering Africa the free or the preferential trade agreements for products in Africa, Kenya has a delegation negotiating its portion of arrangement with the Chinese government, and we hope that in a few weeks' time we shall be able to report progress indicating that we have struck a deal within the free preferential trade arrangements. This is critical for us, critical for Africa, bearing in mind that we are seeing a lot of volatility in the trading arena. So if African countries, and I think one has already concluded, Kenya may be perhaps the next one, we believe that Africa requires predictable, reliable, consistent trade arrangements with its partners. The message is that we need to stop dependency on aid as a continent and start getting more into trade, building the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, working together. And therefore, it is upon us, both individually and collectively, to take more seriously any opportunities of consolidating trade arrangements with our developing partners. So the offer that has been presented by China to the African continent is extremely timely, and I encourage other African countries to take advantage of it within the FOCAC framework so that we can create a predictable, reliable, and consistent trade arrangement with all our partners. As far as Kenya is concerned, the President indeed made a state visit earlier this year, and as has been rightly pointed out, over 21, actually I think there are 21, documents or agreements were signed, bilateral agreements were signed at that occasion. And we wish to pursue some critical aspects where we want to extend the SGR from Naivasha all the way to Kisumu and then Malaba border, so that we can enhance the efficiency of trade between us, our neighbor Uganda, and indeed the Great Lakes region. So that is one of the key programs we are looking at, to have the line 2B and 2C concluded. We are also in consultation so that we can have the dual carriaging of the road Rironi-Mau Summit, and then Mau Summit to Malaba, so that all these again can enhance our trade arrangements with our partners and in the region. These are some of the critical areas. Finally, I just want to acknowledge and thank the people of China through the ambassador that with the kind of geopolitics we are seeing, the geoeconomics we are seeing, the geotechnologies we are seeing, the place for multilateralism is becoming even more important. And a strong message that will continue to send the signal that the absence of multilateralism is dangerous for humanity is extremely essential at this point in time. We will not be able to deal with the conflicts that we see if we disrespect or weaken or undermine multilateralism. Therefore, the position taken of consolidating and strengthening multilateralism, Your Excellency, is a shared position with the People's Republic of China, and we thank you for it. I will end there, but reaffirming that our partnership and our friendship is important, is solid, is growing, and we value it. On that note, Your Excellency, I think we should propose a toast.
Please join us in a toast to the prosperity and the well-being of our great nations of China and Kenya, to our friendship which endures as Mount Kenya, and to the good health of my all distinguished guests and your families. Cheers.
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 Well done.
Thank you very much.